Hello there, and welcome to Pink Milk, your Star Wars podcast for us superfans and those normally forced to listen. However, tonight, nobody's going to be forced to listen to our very own M from Pink Milk After Dark. Get ready, it's time to drink up! Hello there, and welcome to Pink Milk. I am your host, Bryan, and normally my husband and your better host, Thomas, is with us. However, it's still March. He's not here. Tom, we miss you, we love you, and we will see you soon. However, tonight is still going to be a 100% Pink Milk night because we are going to be joined by our very own Emma. I am so excited. A few weeks ago, we sat down with Mark for a little one-on-one. I played the role of Baba Wawa. And tonight, I think I might be a little Diane Sawyer action here. So I'm going to come to M with some very hard-hitting news as we discuss being queer, being parents, and probably a hot topic. Maybe this is going to be Real Housewives, actually, because it's going to be hot in here as we discuss The Jedi, which Em and I have a very similar feeling and vibe to The Jedi. And if you're anything like that one dude on Twitter I dealt with earlier this week, you're not going to be happy with anything we have to say. So, before we start saying anything, if you are now listening to this on some sort of Apple product, please head on over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a review. If you want to leave us some beautiful words, that would be awesome. Though I have a feeling it's going to be hard to match the beautiful words that Emma says, because if you ever watch us on Pink Milk After Dark there on YouTube Friday nights, you know she speaks poetry all the time. And I am just really, really excited to have this one-on-one with all of you. I get plenty of one-on-ones, especially after our live streams, because the three of us usually sit and hang out. Emma and I sometimes hang out a little longer. We talk music. We're both like 90s nerds, and we have similar tastes. You know, she's just my like other half. She's just the other being that lives farther up north in Canada. That's still kind of me, but like the better version of me, because she's great. So I'm very excited for all of you to get to know Em a little more, just like I do. And, honestly, Em, you get so many wonderful comments from people. And every time I have a conversation with people about Pink Milk, your name always comes up with all the beautiful things you have to say. So without further ado, let's get ready to talk to Emma. So she's going to be here in like 20 minutes. All right. See you soon. Bye. Well, hello there, everyone. And I am very pleased and tickled to introduce you to someone that probably all of you know very well. Hello, Em.
Hi.
I jokingly said, well, not really jokingly, because I've got fancy glasses on right now too. So we had Mark here a few weeks ago, and now it's your turn. Mark was met with Barbara Wawa, but I think I'm going to pull my inner Diane Sawyer for some very hard-hitting news. I'm not sure if this is appropriate. However, whenever that interview was with the president, maybe it was Trump, I don't remember, when she clearly was drunk as a skunk during this interview.
How very dare you?
Did you see this? It was hilarious. I was like, good for you, girl. But anyways, I have had a sippy, as I posted on Twitter after our chit chat with Joe on our last live stream with Em on Pink Milk After Dark, which if you don't listen or watch, you should. The podcast comes out on Monday, and the live stream is on Fridays on YouTube late at night.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun.
And even though, is this still going to be fun for you later in the week when we go back to daylight savings? And
That'll be fine. Again? It's fine. It's fine. It's good. It's good.
I don't know how you do it.
I'm ready.
I'm really happy you do. All right. So all of us know you already because of the round tables. First, and now Pink Milk After Dark.
Right.
So I'm curious, first, what made you say yes to a round table? I'm like, I don't know why or how any and all of you said yes to who was a total stranger at the time. I don't even think we followed each other on Twitter yet.
Nope.
Until that, right?
Not. Nope.
And what a big commitment. And I'm so glad that we all did meet, but I'm curious, what made you say yes?
I have opinions and I like talking about my opinions. I don't know. I mean, I've always been confident though, like in my ability to express myself. I mean, you know, I went to an arts high school. I was a theater kid. And so I've had a lot of positive experiences in my life of, you know, being asked what I thought about something or being asked to interpret something and giving my interpretation. I've always got a lot of good feedback from that. It's always been a good experience for me. So like, I kind of like performing in that way. So it felt really natural to me. It's just something that I've always gotten up to.
That's so crazy. I love that you just called it a performance because none of us are performing exactly because we're all like, this is who we are, IRL. But before we hit record, we were just talking about zodiac signs and all this, which Emma, of course, as shocks to none of you, knows about these things. Shocks again to none of you. I know nothing about these things. But we were just talking about our zodiac sign being a sun and then the rising sign or something. But the rising sign is how we present ourselves. And so now it just makes me think, like, are we always performing? Because, like, I am always myself with everything that I do. But I do feel when people meet me IRL, I am much quieter than anyone thinks that I probably am. Because Lord knows I can talk in front of a microphone, or when I was like a bartender or whatever, I can work a room. You put me in a party and it's my job to go work the room, I can work the room. If I'm not in real, like if I'm just there as myself, I'm very quiet and I'm wallflower watching everything happening because I find it fascinating.
Well, the thing is, like, I mean, I know that a lot of people, they equate the word performance with like artifice or being not genuine. But in my experience, that's not necessarily true. Like, especially as a dancer and like doing dance performances, because like in that sense, when you're performing, you're not concealing yourself, you're revealing yourself. And you are like expressing and laying bare, you know, your inner life for an audience. I think the thing that makes it performance is the intention. It's like you have to be clear about what you're trying to convey and you focus your energy on conveying that thing. Like that's what performance is, right? And so that means we can do that in a lot of different areas of life. It doesn't necessarily mean like we're trying to pull the wool over people's eyes. It means that we've entered a space where we have clarity of intention and we're going to convey that. And we know that like we have something to say and we're seeking like a meaningful connection and an exchange of energy. That's what performance is. It's like it's focus.
Look at that. We are 5 minutes in, folks, and we just got beautiful words from again, surprised as no one. No, that's honestly, you're 100% right. 100%. Like, I love it. I love everything you just said. It really does. It really does come down to, the intent. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So you've already said that you were a theater kid. More reasons that we probably get along very well because I too am an honorary thespian of troupe something or other. I don't remember. I was backstage though. I was not in front. So you were a theater kid. I'm curious what growing up was like for you. Like what parts of growing up can you pinpoint made you the beautiful and fantastic woman that you are today?
Well, I mean, I had a lot of trauma as a kid. Like I came from like my parents divorced when I was young, and there was friction in the family around the circumstances of the divorce. And, you know, there was sometimes like hostility between members of my extended family, and just in general, like I had a lot of anxiety, and I didn't find a lot of comfort in the world outside. So I retreated inside. I also had this massive passion for dance. So like I started formal training in dancing when I was like 5. I took ballet, jazz, and tap. And then I started doing contemporary, and I started doing a specific type of contemporary dance called Margaret Morris method. And I would do that. There was actually a dance camp that I went to every summer that I would go to, and it would be like an intensive thing where you would just take dance class like all day. And I went as a kid, and then I became a counselor, and it was a wonderful experience. I had such a great time. But yeah, like I don't remember a lot of my childhood, especially before I was a teenager, probably just because I was really anxious and traumatized all the time. The things that I remember the most was just that, like I said, I loved to dance. Like that was my escape. I loved to read. And yeah, like that's about it. So then when it was time for me to go to high school, there was a special program in the city where I grew up called the Integrated Arts Program. They took about 1 out of every 9 applicants when I applied, and I got in the first time I tried.
Good for you.
Oh, thank you. So the thing about this program was that half of your day would be taking traditional school subjects. So, and in the earlier grades, your schedule was very set for you, and you would always know, like, okay, I'm taking math, I'm taking history, you know, I'm taking English. And then the other half of the day would be your drama, dance, ceramics, musical theater, like that kind of stuff. So, I did that, and as you got on in the grades, you got to have a little bit more freedom and choose what you were getting up to. So I put more of my focus on dance, and that was where I put most of my energy for like the end of my high school years. And that was just like my happy place. There was an organization, like an arts organization in my hometown, and they would invite choreographers from like the big cities, like professionals, like dance professionals, who would do workshops with people. So you could go like on a Saturday and you could take like a dance class with someone who's like a professional contemporary dancer. And I did things like the 24-hour project, where you would literally in 24 hours, you would come together with artists, you would create a show, and then you would put the show on, and it would all take place over a 24-hour period.
Oh, wow.
My best friends and we got involved with like theater festivals, and we put on like a 1-act play together. You know, my 2 of my friends were the actors in the play, and myself and one other person were like co-directors, and we staged, like we decided on the stage directions and like all that stuff. So the other cool thing about the Integrated Arts Program was that it was the purpose of it. Like they would basically say, like, we're not Juilliard. Like we're not here to like churn out people that are really good at one thing. They wanted to create people who had like a holistic vision of the arts and who got experience doing multiple things. So I also did stuff like lighting design and costumes and makeup and sound technician, which, by the way, is the most stressful job in the entire arts community. Like, I bow down to all sound techs, because that was the hardest thing that I ever had to do, was be a sound tech for a dance show. It was difficult.
Ran sound once for a High School Musical, so I was like in the stage crew. That was my theater thing. Never again.
Yeah, I know.
It was so hard and stressful.
I was also in the Sears Drama Festival, which takes place. It's like a straight up competition where people would come from different schools, and they would have to compete, and a panel of judges would like advance you on to the next round. So we got we were finalists in that.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so yeah, I just kind of, those are like the best memories of my childhood, honestly, like being on
That's
stage
awesome.
performing, but like especially dancing, because like dance is my love. And yeah, I've had other adventures in dance since then, like as an adult, but
yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, that'll be round 2. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. When did you come out?
So I came out when I was really young. Like people get judgmental about my coming out story because I I terrorized everybody because I was only like 11 or 12.
Good for you. That's so.
And I was like, I'm bisexual.
Yeah.
Like nobody knew what to do with it. It was bad. Like I just changed schools and everything. It was terrible.
Oh.
I mean, and also like again, because I had a lot of unresolved emotional trauma, like I was a disaster. Like I was the like traditional disaster bi. Like
Yeah.
I was in some ways like I was toxic. Like I didn't have healthy ways of regulating my emotions, and I didn't know how to have healthy relationships or friendships with people. So I was just a very chaotic person for a really long time, and it was extremely painful. Like my inner life was very tumultuous, and I had a lot of like emotional anguish. And then it's so weird. I still don't fully like understand what exactly happened, but I basically just was like, I can't keep going on like this. I need to find a different way to be in the world. And I decided that I was going to be Anne of Green Gables.
Okay. I love it.
So I was a huge Anne Shirley fangirl, like for most of my childhood. Like starting when I was 11, like I read all 8 of the books in order, and I would read them all in order like once a year. That was like my tradition. I would usually start in September and I would be finished by like Christmas break, like the end of Christmas break. And yeah, I just decided like I'm going to be a person, because like in the books, you know, they talk about how Anne, like when she comes into a room, everybody feels better. You know, she leaves situations better than they were when she found them. She helps people to appreciate like the beauty in life and like the good things that are around them. She values things that last, like not like shallow, ephemeral things that pass away, but she puts her work and her value into things that last, like intimacy and trust and, you know, things that really have like true value. So I taught myself to be like that.
That's amazing. Well, you taught yourself well, because here you are. You're still doing it. No, that's really beautiful. I love that. Like, because, you know, you talked about leaving a lot of your childhood memory locked away somewhere that you don't remember, you know? And I think, you know, you had a lot of other things too, but just coming out, and especially if you're that young, it's like, it's a lot. Like, I don't remember much of high school. I really don't anymore, because I think I was that's when I was coming out to myself and figuring it all out. And I don't remember a lot. And I remember probably 10 years ago now, a group of us kind of found each other on Facebook again. And like, we went and hung out, and everyone's reliving all these high school memories. And I just didn't remember any of it. And I know it hurt a couple of people's feelings, and I can totally understand how that would hurt. And I'm like, I had so much more going on in my head that like, and a lot of it, I don't want to remember anymore. So I know it's in there, but I think we as humans we figure out a way to lock it up. So we just don't have to deal with it anymore. We've processed it, and I don't really feel like going back to it again. And we just put it where it needs to be. Maybe that's good. Maybe that's bad. I don't know. But I think that's what a lot of us do. So do you still identify the same way?
As bi? Yeah, I'm comfortable with like bi pan.
Okay.
Like I kind of think of myself more as pansexual, but I'm okay with the bi label. And a lot of the time it's just more like expeditious to call myself bi. Like, it's a lot easier for people to understand, because pan is still kind of a new concept for people. So yeah, and honestly, both are comfortable for me.
Yeah.
A lot of people wonder sort of what the distinction is, and there's been a lot of discourse about it. But for me, I feel like it really comes down to like what you're attracted to. Like, I feel like people who are pan are attracted to people in spite of their gender presentation or disregarding their gender presentation, whereas bi people are attracted to people because of their gender presentation, or their gender presentation is something that is enticing, you know? Because like when I try to explain, like I've had to explain to people, like, you know, well, like straight people who have no concept, like I've had to explain to them like what my sexuality is like. And what I tell them is, I'm like, well, you know, okay, so imagine like the perfect partner for you. Okay. And like on your list of criteria, one of the criteria is that they're the opposite gender to you. I'm like, that's just not on my list.
Yep. Yeah. You know, I find that ability to be this gift. As much as you hear how hard it is for people in our community to be there, because we still live in this duality system. I find people, the people who identify as pan that I have met in my life are always like you a lot of times, and just like this really open, beautiful person. And that's like what, I don't know, I'm sure that characteristic plays part into these other things too, you know, like, and you know, it's really beautiful. And I am happy to have met more and more people as I get older, because, you know, I'm a gay dude and I've always been a gay dude, and that's it. You know, like, and that's fine too. But you know, it's interesting because I don't know, like it's easier to relate to different people in that way, because it's still more of a mainstream, globally understood way of thinking about people, if that makes sense, because it's still one thing. So I do find it's probably easier for people to relate to that, even if they're interested in like the different thing, but it's still one thing. But yeah, so I mean, I love that y'all are sharing more and more stories, and listening to like Scott, I think about in our roundtables and how he's dealt with it, you know, during those things, and how it's shifted and all that. It's just like, I'm very, very happy for all of those things. So let's completely switch gears.
Yeah, sure.
We've all heard your story of watching Return of the Jedi with your babysitter.
That's right.
And you've also shared that the sequel trilogy kind of brought you back into Star Wars. And during quarantine, fan fiction like really pulled you in, correct?
Yep, that's right.
Did I shorten that up the right way?
Yes.
So you could have had anything to go back in, because I know you're into other fandoms too.
Yep.
But why Star Wars? Why was that where you really like invested your time?
I think partially it was because of the connection to my childhood, you know, and it kind of felt like like my life coming full circle again, you know, reconnecting to that 5-year-old, even though like I was 35 when the sequel trilogy came out. And also like, it just, I don't know, it just pushes all my buttons. Like I love the nerdy stuff too. Like, I mean, because I've always just been a huge nerd, like, and that's always been my home, you know, like with other people who are geeky, you know, like, I mean, my friends and we used to have an anime club where like every Wednesday we would go and like watch one disc worth of an anime series. So it's like, you know, all of that stuff, you know, and like being into Buffy and being into, you know, like it's just been so many geeky endeavors that I've been into and that my friends have been into, and you know, like just nerd culture in general has always been a place that I've been really comfortable, and that's always where my friends were. So yeah, so like having this nerdy thing that was having like a cultural renaissance that kind of brought me back to like a safe and happy part of my childhood. And also the fact that there's so much material now, you know, like, like there's so much to delve into, and yeah. And I mean, I like to think of myself as pretty knowledgeable, but I mean, there's always new things to learn. So it's like, you know, I'm still learning about, you know, the full breadth and width of the canon and all this stuff, and the new books that are coming out, like everything, like learning about the High Republic era, which we haven't really gotten to see before. So it was just kind of like this great mix. It was like this really heady mix of like nostalgia with being an area that I was already comfortable in, plus the possibility of like learning new things and having new experiences as new content comes out. And as I explore, you know, other aspects of the Star Wars properties. So yeah, it was just really captivating. Honestly, like when I first went to see The Force Awakens, it was just like nostalgia for me. Like I was just like, oh, you know, like I'm so looking forward to going back to like, you know, the idyllic part of my childhood. But also the fact that they chose to make Rey is such a powerful character too. I mean, like that, like just like hit all my feminist buttons, right?
Yes.
So
hit a lot of other people's buttons too, in a stupid sort of way.
Yeah, well, whatever. We don't care about that.
No. Yeah,
we don't have to talk about those people.
I remember leaving Force Awakens because, again, like I'm just a simple person. I probably don't have the brain width to handle a lot of other things. Like Star Wars has really only ever been my only thing that I was like super deep into. You know, I think about syndicated cartoons, especially like in my early 30s. Like I knew way too much about it. Like I love all the aspects around syndicated cartoons, like why they're written, how they're written, the idea of selling toys, which I think is so much more. And that probably goes back to Star Wars too. Like it's not just the marketing. I think there is an aspect, and it's something that's interesting going on in Star Wars right now, because toys in themselves are not what they used to be for kids in general, but toys are a part of children figuring things out. And it's not just a commercial. Yes, it's also just a commercial, but it was part of the storytelling experience for children. And, you know, I think video games are becoming this other form of telling the story that we as adults can immerse ourselves into a story in a much more physical sort of way. I'm sure that's how people feel about cosplay and all that stuff too. It's immersing yourself into the story, fan fiction, immersing yourself into a story that you love immensely, but getting yourself, it's still us playing with our toys in a lot of ways. You know, it's, I mean, I think about when I would play with my toys, I was not like all the other kids. Half the time I played by myself, and I used to always like tackle interracial families and age stuff and children being adopted and running away from home. Like I was clearly like prepping myself for my future life as what must have been happening. But like those were the things that interested me. You know, I think I remember watching Planet of the Apes when I was very, very young and going, I understood enough that I'm like, oh, I think they're talking about something else. And it clicked early on that you could use science fiction or stories to present one way to probably beat over the people's heads that wouldn't listen to you anyways, to talk about different kinds of things. And then I got a little bit older and I was like, oh my God, Star Wars is doing the same exact stuff. It's like, there's so much interwoven, and I've said this many times, and no one can do that like George Lucas, because you really don't know that's what he's doing to you, but that's what he's doing to you. And I think it's just the greatest thing. I love it. But I agree. This new era of Star Wars is so big. Like Legends was really big too, but it was not mainstream like it is now. I am so happy with how big Star Wars is again. Like I will deal with the Twitter garbage to know this many people love Star Wars right now. Like it's, to me, it's so exciting, and it's worth that stuff. But no, I love that story. And I love people getting back into Star Wars like older, because it's always talked about is that it's for kids. And I know what people I think are trying to say, but I don't really always like that expression because I don't think it is. I think it's for a family. Like Star Wars is for families and for you and your relationship with your own family that's either good or bad or whatever, but it's accessible to kids. It is not for kids.
No. And speaking about Star Wars and family too, like I was very pregnant with my son when I went to see Force Awakens, and like seeing Princess Leia as a mother, that also really affected me, especially as someone who had always looked up to her. And I feel like the emotional experience was only like enhanced by seeing her as a mother who had failed. You know, especially being like on the cusp of having my own child, and like and he's my first and my only. So I had no experience as a mom. I didn't know what to expect. And, you know, like the stakes are so high because like you love this creature so much and you don't want to fuck up. But like it's in a way it's kind of comforting to see someone who's failing in front of you, because it's like, okay, well, like maybe my arms won't fall off, you know?
Oh my God. I can only imagine the things that parents think about with an infant. Like, I don't know. But you're right. And to see Leia that way, who is always such an idealistic character that quite frankly, no one can achieve that level. Like that character is beyond reality.
Yes.
She's just beyond.
She's very aspirational. Yeah.
Yes. But to see that, I don't want to use the word fail, but for lack of a better word at this moment in time, fail as a parent, you know, which again, she didn't really do. So no one but to see something other than perfection.
I have a lot of feminist ideas about the way that like Leia is presented, like especially in fan fiction.
Yeah.
So I don't want anybody to think that like by me saying that I'm trying to like denigrate the character or anything like that. It's just I mean her family fell apart for a lot of reasons. Yep. But like, you know, she was a contributing factor. You know, as someone who was expected to be a responsible adult. And, you know, so, but I mean.
Yeah, I mean, all of that, you know, when Force Awakens first came out, I wasn't a parent yet.
Yeah.
Frankly, we weren't allowed to be parents yet when that came out, which is how new all this is.
And I mean, and also like the way that what I'm trying to convey by telling the story is I found it comforting. Like, I didn't feel like, you know, like, oh, like, you know, F her or like, you know, oh, like what a loser. That I have never felt that way about Princess Leia, and I never will. It's just like she had something bad happen to her.
Yep.
Something bad happened to her family, and the world did not end. Like things kept going. There was still a story to tell. There were still things to do. That was what I took from. That's 100%. What I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, 100. That's 100%, 100%. And I think about 100%. And she's still the one in a lot of ways that brought him back.
Oh,
it was her,
totally.
You know, it was her teachings. We saw him not be able to shoot her down like he did his dad.
Yep.
We saw the lessons that she taught Rey. It was Leia who got Rey to get where she went, not Luke. Yep. And it was those teachings that she taught Rey that brought Ben back. So like she still did it. She still did it. She did it. And to me, I don't know. I've heard so many different theories on Force Han and all that. I'm like, I don't know how anyone thinks that was anyone other than Leia. Like that was Leia dressed up as Han Solo. I'm sure through really being him in some sort of weird Force sort of thing. But like, she's the one who brought him there. He didn't get there. She put him there because she knew that's who her son needed it like that. It's just that it is the greatest parenting thing ever, because of course, as a mother, you're going to want to say goodbye to your child, but you put your child first and you know that I will not help him the same way this will help him. So I'm going to sacrifice my final goodbye to actually help him in this situation further. And it's like, that is like,
that's
so
beautiful.
much.
That's very Leia.
Yes, it's so good. It's so good. Okay, it's so funny. I can rag on The Rise of Skywalker all day long, and then I have these things. I'm like, oh my god, this movie's so darn good. There's so many moments. There are so moments. Many great moments.
There are moments that are good.
So, what is your story to become a mom? Because for many of us queer people, it is not as cut and dry as it is for not everyone. I mean, there are lots of people who build their families differently, but it is not the way we think of making a family.
Yep.
Oftentimes. So what is your story with that?
So Sarah and I always knew that we wanted kids. That was one of the things that we talked about seriously before we chose to get married. Mm-hmm. Highly recommended, by the way. Everyone should do that. Mm-hmm. If before you marry anybody, you need to talk about like money and you need to talk about kids.
Coming from two queer people with very long relationships, that doesn't unfortunately always happen in our community. But please, going forward, now that we have the same rights as many other people do, please, more queer people stay together longer. Yeah. But when you are our age, it's not always super common.
It's true. Go ahead. Yeah, so we talked about that, like, and we knew that we were both on the same page about that. So in 2014, Sarah developed a chronic illness. She has multiple sclerosis. And her illness presented in a much more dramatic way than most MS diagnoses happen. Just like she was very severely disabled by an attack that left her hospitalized for a very long period of time, and she had to go to rehab to relearn how to like walk and talk and use her arms and legs. So we knew that I would have to carry the baby that we were going to have. And so in 2014, Sarah had her attack. And she by the fall, she was mostly recovered, and like considered stable. And so for my birthday present to myself in 2015, I made an appointment at the fertility clinic so that we could kick off the process of conceiving a child. So we knew that we were going to do an anonymous donor because one of the reasons was that like we might have been open to a known donor, but our government had a program where they would pay for fertility treatments for anybody. But you had to either use your spouse. So say you're like a more traditional couple, and you know, your spouse, like for some reason it's not working and you need a bit of technological help. So then you would use your spouse's gametes, or you'd have to use an anonymous donor. Those were your only choices. Okay. So, so we had to go with an anonymous donor. So that was fine. The fertility clinic hooked us up with a couple of websites that we could go to choose somebody that we wanted to be the biological father of our child. Yeah. And so we did. So we chose someone that had characteristics that we liked and had written a letter about his life philosophy and what was important to him. That's cool. And yeah, so we have that all in a file. Like we even have photos of him and everything. So we don't know his name or any other like identifying information, but we have that. We have the file. And it's also got like a detailed medical history of his family, including his extended family, like aunts and uncles. We chose a donor. And then, so between March and May was all just like preparing, tracking, checking me out, making sure I was healthy, doing blood work. I found out that my immunity to rubella had worn off. FYI, if you were born between 1978 and 1983, you probably need a rubella booster because when we were kids, like that age cohort, the vaccination schedule wasn't scientifically optimized. So a lot of people at those ages didn't necessarily get the best like vaccine schedule just because they didn't know better. Yeah. So now we do. So, yeah, like if you're in your like mid to late 30s, early 40s, you should get a booster shot if you can and protect yourself. Because vaccines are awesome and we love them. Yay, science. Yes. But yeah, so, you know, I had to like update my immunizations and I had to have like physical exams to make sure that everything was healthy and whatever. Yeah. And so at the beginning of May, I went in and I had my procedure and like two weeks later, we found out we were going to have a baby.
Oh, that's wonderful. And I'm really, really glad that you have info and pictures. Mm-hmm. I think that's important if possible, because people will ask, you know, I have no idea who my biological father is, and it's not something I'm necessarily upset about or any of those things. But, you know, one of the things that I will never know, and it's, you know, it's hard to talk about these things sometimes with your parents in particular, you know, but here I am at 41 and there's still moments when I look in the mirror and I kind of wonder who's coming back and looking back, you know, and I don't really have any interest in knowing who the person is or any of those things. Like he's not my father. My father is my father. Yeah. But sometimes I would like to know, like, oh, that's where this came from. It's, you know, it's superficial and completely not superficial at the same time. So even with our kids, we, luckily we have some pictures through the Facebook because, you know, we don't know anything about their family. And, you know, and that's something too. I'm so just even technically speaking, thank God you have all these little medical background things, because like that's something I don't have when you go to the doctor, and it's a bummer every time you have to retell, I only know half my family background. What do you mean you only know half? Well, you know, and my kids, they'll ask, I'm like, we don't know. We don't know. And it's really nice that you do. But yeah, we have tried to get pictures and have them printed, so someday if they ask, they are there. We have saved, wink, wink, not really, didn't save because we were supposed to shred these things. So I don't know what I'm saying. We shredded everything, and but we have everything there. So if they get older, this is everything that we know. And they're not near that age, obviously, but someday we want to be able to give that to them to try to at least fill some of those answers, you know, to the questions that are inevitably going to come in life. And if they never ask them, then I guess we don't ever have to give them out. But I'm glad you did that. So
I don't know. I mean, honestly, those, like, let's be real, Silas is like an exact copy of me. So like I might as well have just cloned myself, because he looks exactly like me. He acts exactly like me. Like, there are so many ways that he is.
Well, I have to tell you, I think we've mentioned this before. Like, I look at pictures of myself and I look a lot like my dad, and there is no DNA shared there, but like I look like my father, because that's culture, you know, nature versus nurture stuff 100%, right? And our kids, I mean, Michael and Eli, and it's this weird thing. Like, I don't like hearing it. I understand what people say. Oh, they could be blood brothers. Well, they're not, and that doesn't make them any better or worse than anything else, right? Like, they probably clearly are not our biological children. Jack, I think possibly, I'm sure some people would just assume it anyways. But what I'm learning is I don't necessarily see us physically in any of our kids. I like language and mannerisms and all that 100%. I mean, Jack's been with us for like half his life now. Michael's been with us for almost half his life already, or, you know, coming close to it. So it's most of their life has been with us. Most of their more cognitive life has been with us anyways. So all that stuff is picking up. But I look at my kids and they actually are starting to look like one another. It's the mannerisms and all these things. And it's always this trip, because I'm like, if they're looking like each other, then that has to mean they're looking like us. Because I don't necessarily like see Tom, but I see Jack in both Michael and Eli all the time. It cracks me up, because I'm like, oh my God, you look just like your brother. It is bonkers, and it's really, really, really funny. So Yeah. So your child will look like the two of you regardless anyways, because that's where he is being raised. So Madonna, that's another big fandom for you, right?
Yes.
And Madonna played a great part. Did we talk about this on After Dark, or is this a private conversation of how Madonna brought you two together?
I don't think we've ever talked about it like on the pod. So yes. So way back when, children, if you remember Live Journal, many moons ago. Yeah, so we each had a Live Journal, and then, as you know, like there were communities, like Live Journal communities, where multiple users could post, and so there was this Madonna fan community that was run by our friend Turi, and one day I kind of saw Sarah around, and I thought she was like sweet and funny, because she is. Mm-hmm. She's very, very funny. And she was posting like, oh, like I'm off from work and I have some extra time. So if anyone wants a custom banner for their LJ, just tell me and I'll make you one. And she's like, if you want to send me your favorite pictures or tell me what your favorite photo shoot is of Madonna, like I'll do something for you in Photoshop. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was the sweetest thing, because like she just loves doing Photoshop. She's really good at it. And she just, So like for her, this was fun, but she was using it to like benefit other people and just totally selflessly. And I thought that was so sweet. Mm-hmm. So I went to her Live Journal because I wanted to talk to her. And she'd done that thing where it's locked and there's just one post at the top that is like, comment here and I'll add you as a friend.
Yeah.
I was an open book. Like I my privacy settings were like all over the place. So like I was not organized enough to do that, but she was. And so I left her a comment and I was just like, hey, I want to let you know your graphics are really cool. And it's so nice of you to do graphics for the community. And, like you don't have to friend me, but like I just wanted to tell you something nice. And she friended me.
Okay.
So I was pleasantly surprised. And we just started talking, and then we started like talking on Yahoo Messenger, and then she called me on the phone on my birthday, and things between us just grew. And after we'd been talking for a few months, mostly over Messenger, I was like, what's going on with you? It was like right around her birthday. It was in the fall. And I was like, what's going on with you? You're being kind of weird. And she was like, well, kind of think I'm having feelings for you, but like I've never been with a girl before, and like I don't know, and also like we're such good friends and I don't want to mess it up. I was like, listen, you're living in Australia on the other side of the world. I just got out of a serious relationship. Like neither of us, we don't have to rush into anything. This is very low stakes. We can just kind of like just be really chill about it. So we spent like about a year just like messaging and talking on the phone. And then in September the following year, she came to visit me. And as soon as I saw her in the airport, I knew I was going to marry her. The first time I laid eyes on her. Like she was walking out of the arrivals gate, and I remember everything about what she was wearing. I remember how like her jeans were just a bit too long and they were like all scuffed and ripped from like walking on them in her little sneakers, and how she wore her hair and the shirt that she was wearing. Like I remember everything about that moment, because that was when I laid eyes on the person I was going to marry and spend the rest of my life with. I knew instantly, honestly. I really did.
I love it. I love hearing those stories, because I wonder how many people knew. Like, I mean, it took Tom and I a while, but by the time we actually like went on a date, I knew. Like there was something. I was like, I've never felt this. I didn't know what I was feeling. I mean, like, to be honest, like Tom's not here, so I was just a gigantic, I spent lots of minutes with people. That was all I really ever did. Like, lots. I I'm an open book and I'm very free, right?
Yes.
I had been in a relationship before. It was a horrible, horrible relationship. It was garbage. I'm glad I went through it, but I learned a lot. But anyways, I was not really a person. I like to spend minutes and I like to be by myself. So, and then I was like, oh, okay, well, I mean, Tom, I've said this before, was the most beautiful person in all of Phoenix, Arizona that I had ever seen. Like, I was like, he's never going to go for me. Like, he is, this dude is out of my league. Like, it's not going to happen, but I love it. And then whatever things started happening, I was like, oh my God, and now he wants to go on a date, you know, and it took a minute, again, long story. But anyways, I knew, I was like, I've never felt, and I didn't know what it was that I was feeling. Like, I can't say I knew I was going to marry him, but I was like, this is, because I'm with you. And I love that story. Like, I knew everything. I remember everything. I literally remember the chair I was sitting in when I was waiting because he was 10 minutes late. And then to know Tom and to know him now, and all of you listeners who think he's nothing but sweet, just so you know, he made me wait for 10 minutes on purpose because he knew I would wait.
Wow. Oh my.
It's part of the magic that is him. But I knew, like, we laughed and I was like, this is just, I've never felt like whatever this is that I'm feeling. I've never felt this before.
Yeah.
And I just felt instantly very comfortable with every single thing of who I was in that moment. And anyways, then there we go. And, you know, we were together like 6 months before we even called each other boyfriends. Like, it was like, we were always danced around the topic of what it was. Like, we all kind of knew what was going on, but we're like, and we were too not cool enough to say, well, let's not put a label on it. Like, we weren't that either. We were just like, literally, we were going to avoid it.
Yeah.
But whatever, it worked out where it needed to work out. So,
but I think that, like, I think part of the reason why it, like, clicked so quickly and easily for us was the fact that we were in a Madonna community, and like for both of us, we both had the same experience of like falling in love with Madonna when we were young, like 5, and we both like kind of loved the same things about her, and we love her in the same way, like where we would like, you know, like bust on her, you know, like kind of like, you know how like nobody can say bad things about your sister, but like you can like say terrible things about your sister. Like, that's how we would be, you know, like paparazzi pictures would come and I would be like, oh my God, like she never hems her pants. Like, get a tailor. You have like $1 billion. Come on. You know?
So this is the theme. Star Wars brought you back because of nostalgia and childlike things, and Madonna sticks around for those very things.
Yeah.
So what is it about these things that we are attached to as children that comes with us? Like, what is it that Madonna offers you that she can stay with you this long? What is it that Star Wars offers you that it can challenge you at every stage of your life and stick with you, you know, like.
Well, I mean, I talked about in our coming out episode, like in our prequel in our special editions episode, I talked and coming out in the 90s, I talked about like how a lot of my life philosophy was informed by Madonna, like how a lot of the things, like her perspective on life and the things that she believes about the nature of the universe and the important things in life, like those really resonated with me. And I don't know if that's just because of like my own background or like just how I am, or the experiences that I had in life. But like, I felt like I really felt like I was picking up what she was putting down. And, yeah, like I said, like her philosophy just really, it made a lot of sense to me, and it helped me like make sense of life and make sense of like the nature of the universe and like why are we here and what is life, you know? And so I think that's why she stuck with me and why she's like sort of burrowed in so deep, you know, because I'm never gonna forget that. Like I'll always owe her the fact that she helped me make sense of the world, you know? And also like, and I've also seen all of the good things that I've gotten out of life by following her ideas. Like, following her ideas about like the importance of art and how like art is vital to life. Like it's something that has value and that is like such an important vehicle for like self-expression and and about queerness and about how like beautiful queerness is and how important it is to like value that and how it's just another part of the human experience. Like there's no one right way to be a person. There's so many different ways that you can be a person, And
oh my God, I just remembered this memory. This is the Blonde Ambition tour, right? Was the Truth or Dare tour, right?
Yep.
So my mom hated Madonna. I was not allowed to listen to Madonna, even though like I grew up on Sex Pistols, so I don't understand this. Like whatever. But she did not like her at all, and I was not allowed to listen to her music. But I liked it anyways. And the Blonde Ambition tour was playing on like HBO or something as some special, and it was one back in the day when those big releases came and they would air HBO for free, right, to try to get you to sign up.
Yeah.
And for some reason, she let me watch it. And I remember somewhere during that tour, there is like a scene with all of her dancers and they're talking about condoms. And there's like a lot of queer talk.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember being so enthralled with that conversation and my mom just watching me watch it. And she's like, what is it that you're watching? What are you paying attention to or something? I was just like, I think I'm like them. And I was young. When was that? It was 89 or whatever. So I'm 9, 10, 11
90.
years old, 90. Okay. So I was 11 and I'm like, I don't think I still knew what gay was when I was 11, not back then. And I was just like, but I knew that's what I was. There was something about all of those guys and I knew that's what I was. And I just looked up to those dancers for being who they were. And so like you didn't see guys wearing bras and dancing the way that they did on TV. And then someone like Madonna being so supportive of them. I was like, okay, I don't know if I can do this now, but I know someday there'll be someone out there that will still be nice to me. Like, you know what I mean? And yeah.
Yeah. But it's like, it's when because being Madonna fans was such a big part of our identity, like there gets to be this thing where when you meet other people who are Madonna fans, especially like big ones, like you feel like this instant camaraderie. You feel like, oh, that's my tribe. Those are my people. Like the feeling of community that you get is really, really great. And like I've made friends. I mean, I was the moderator of a Madonna fan message board like back in the days of like UBB, like when people were still using that. And it was run by my friend Tyson. And like Tyson and I are still friends. And we've known each other for like 20 years now.
Yeah.
Like I've had the same Hotmail email address for 20 years, since 2001, because I created it in order to join a Madonna message board run by my friend Teddy, who does a podcast that you like.
Yep. That's awesome.
Yeah,
that you brought to me. I love it.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's just like there's this feeling of family, this feeling of camaraderie that, I mean, exists to a certain extent in the Star Wars fandom.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, obviously there's divisions that...
I know what you're saying. I'm totally picking up what you're putting down because it's not the same. Like, I feel I have that with Tori Amos. Like, I am a massive Tori Amos fan, like massive. And I was all over the interwebs. I was all over those things. I used to go hang out at the shows before and after and got to meet people. And, that was she's who I figured out how to come out with because of her music. Like that was my ticket, to help find the ways to have a conversation with yourself. That I often wonder, I don't know if it's an exclusively queer thing, because we as queer people have to analyze everything that we do, because nothing the world is not built for us. Our parents oftentimes, and I don't mean this as a slam, don't raise us to be that way. They raise us to be straight. And again, I get it. Especially back, like I get it. I'm not mad about it, but we have to question everything. And because society also questions everything that we do. So you're just forced to self-analyze everything. Yeah. And Tori Amos's music gave me permission to figure out how to do that, because I know a lot of people like say her music's depressing. I'm like, are you kidding me? Her music to me is the most empowering and uplifting. She will just challenge you at your hardest moments and tell you how to get out of it. That's what her music does. It just gives you a roadmap of how to like look at yourself, be honest. You can eventually overcome it.
Yep.
To me, that's what I've always gotten from it. But yeah, I agree. Star Wars doesn't. Maybe I'm getting it more now after like the round tables. I'm seeing it differently, but it was never. It's always been, and I've been very open with this. It's been a very private, personal thing for me until the podcast. It was always Star Wars, just my little thing.
For me, it was the same until I joined the shipping community. You know, it's like being my Raylos.
Oh God,
we're
I
a
love
wacky
it.
little family. You know, like
it's awesome. It's awesome. You know, and I'm yeah. So that's just great. And I love, one of the things that I love the most about the roundtables, I think, is meeting you for all sorts of reasons. But especially for the reason that I finally found someone that I think views the Jedi in a very similar way to me, which I do not think is a popular outlook. However, I feel in recent months it's becoming more of this like understanding. I'm like, okay, you people are finally understanding what George was trying to do with the prequels. You finally understand, like, they were never presented as good. Qui-Gon Jinn was our hero for a reason, and there is a reason that the hero of that story didn't like the Order, and the entire end was, no, I'm going to do this anyways. So, like, I don't understand why all these people still like to argue that they're great. I am not saying that the Force is bad, and maybe we'll learn through the High Republic that the Jedi were once altruistic and good, but something happened.
Oh, well, I mean, reading Light of the Jedi, I mean, like, the heroism that is evident in there is incredible. Like, I mean, like, that is the Jedi at their best, you know? And, but yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I was actually thinking about this today in preparation for this conversation. And it's like, I've said it before on the podcast, but I'm going to say it again because it's so true. It's like, as soon as you stop considering that you might be wrong, you're in trouble. Like, that is where the Jedi went bad. Like, in my opinion, they went bad because they found a way of rationalizing, like, anytime there was a mistake or something that they could learn from or a way of reevaluating, they just found a way of twisting it around to make it sound like they had been right all along. I mean, like, especially with what happened with Ahsoka. Like, oh, it was a test from the Force. No, it fucking wasn't. No, it wasn't. Like, no, you guys screwed
How dare
up.
you, stupid Jedi? Like, how dare you?
Like, you guys screwed up. And the thing is, like, this goes for any belief system. Like, I mean, there's a reason why, like, systems of thought, like philosophy and science and calculus, they all have a built-in mechanism to evaluate a conclusion for errors. Like, anytime you're addressing a problem and you come to a solution, you have to have a way of testing your solution. You have to stress test your solution and see if it's like, okay, is there information I'm missing? Is there a big chunk that I haven't considered? You know, like, how do I know that this conclusion is correct? Can I, like, you know, with mathematics, when you have a formula, you know, if in order to make sure that it's sound, you try to do the formula like 4 different ways. And you make sure that you get the same result every time you do, like, no matter what configuration you use, you know. And it's like with the Jedi, they just dropped that. They dropped it. they like got to this point where they were just like, oh, well, you know, we're the good guys, so we could just, you know, I guess sit back and kick our feet up and not challenge ourselves and not seize opportunities where we are challenged or where mistakes happen or where things go wrong. Like they just felt like they had nothing to learn from those times.
Yep.
And that is when you're in real danger. If you ever get to a place where being wrong is not a possibility that's ever entering your mind, and there's no self-doubt, and anything that goes wrong is someone else's fault, or, oh, you know, like you find some kind of mystical explanation for it, like, no, that's when you're in real trouble. That's a cult.
Maybe this is more of like the fact that I have like a science background or something. I feel like I oftentimes, or I strive to, maybe I fail from time to time, but I strive to live my life going, you know what, I might be right now, but the potential for me being wrong later as more information is learned about whatever it is I could end up being wrong.
Yes.
And that is okay. Like always, I am telling you, I love when I meet more people. I am more interested in a question than I ever am an answer. Yeah. And I wish more people were like that. The Jedi stopped questioning anything because they already knew it all.
Yeah.
You're 100% right. You are 100% right. Because they knew it all, they're not wrong.
Yeah.
I'm with you 100%.
Well, and that's what makes Yoda's arc on Clone Wars so powerful. Mm-hmm. You know, because he was confronted with this idea that he didn't know everything there was to know. And because he was Yoda in that moment, he humbled himself and he learned. Yep. He took the opportunity to learn, you know, but yeah, I mean, he took that opportunity to learn. I mean, he still failed Anakin terribly, but, but the thing, I mean, you know, everyone makes mistakes, and you know, sometimes we make mistakes at extremely crucial turning points, and it doesn't even when I think even though Yoda failed at that very important test, I don't think it's supposed to indicate that he was a lost cause.
No, Yoda's or that became a pretty stand-up dude.
Yeah, for sure. And he had been a stand-up dude, and he was going to be a stand-up dude. Yep. You know, it's like, yeah. So
it's funny. I hope you listen to next week's episode after this comes out when I talk to Des, because I get into this a little bit and my idea during the original trilogy, which we haven't had an opportunity to ever talk about on anything yet before. And I love the Jedi. I love what the Jedi think they are.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I'm really loving from the High Republic so far, because I feel like we all saw the dry erase board during the marketing for the High Republic, right? And I don't think it was on the dry erase board, but I feel like it's because they had already written it. What did we all think the prequels were going to be like?
Yeah.
And that was the main thing. And now they're writing what we all assumed the prequels were going to be like. And then we didn't get them. And it took many years to adjust to what we actually got. For some, I was here for it from the beginning, because I spoke with Jason from Blast Points on a few podcasts ago. Yeah. I love it when Star Wars challenges me. I want to go in thinking one thing and be shown something that I was like not expecting, but was better than what I could have gotten.
Yeah.
That is way more fun to me. It's more exciting. It's more challenging. It's going to stick with you longer.
Yeah.
You know, like Star Wars isn't with you and me for our entire lives because we knew everything was coming and it gave us simple stuff. It's with us because it challenges us every single day on what it could be and what it like. It's Star Wars is not a flash in the pan. Here's my big bad villain at the end with my third act CGI characters jumping all over the place. That is not what Star Wars is. It's not that. It's all the stuff underneath, which I love. So I love how honest you are about the Jedi, because I think some people have a hard time being honest and accept who the Jedi became. So I'm curious where they're going to go in the future. Like, I'm really curious about that. But do you think, like, when did your idea of the Jedi become that way? Do you think being queer or being a parent affected how you look at the Jedi at all?
Yeah, I think as soon as I started revisiting the prequels and revisiting who the Jedi were, not as like individuals, like not just like Yoda, Luke, Mace Windu, you know, like, but seeing them as a collective body, and also watching the Clone Wars too was also very influential. You know, seeing them as like operate as the council and the decisions that the council made. Yeah, I think that was kind of what influenced my perception of Jedi.
Yep. Which I love. Like, I love that we meet Luke in A New Hope, and they're this idealistic, aspirational thing that we all anticipated we were going to get.
Yep.
Then we meet them, and they were not that. And then we meet Cranky Luke, who, because the sequel trilogy is so incredibly meta, were all of us OT fans, and how he felt exactly the way we felt about the prequels at the beginning. Maybe not the prequels, but like he felt exactly like how we all felt about the Jedi.
Yeah.
And people didn't like Cranky Luke because they saw too much of themselves in him.
Yeah.
And then instead of like listening and watching this thing that they claim to love and seeing how Luke force projected himself to become back to the way that he always wanted to be, we're stuck on Cranky Luke.
Yeah.
Not going, okay, let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go.
Yeah.
And learn from those lessons. Because again, I'm pretty sure that's what George's entire intention was. Like, don't follow anybody. Don't follow the government to tell you exactly what to do, because it could be an evil empire. Don't follow your religious leaders, because they could be an evil cult that's just going to manipulate politics and manipulate armies to take you down too. You got to follow your own path. Hence, we get Ahsoka, who follows her own path, and is like Leia follows her own path. You know, like that is what I think so much of all of this is about. So, anyways, I love that you.
I think also sometimes, like, I think the Jedi gave into the temptation to put ideals above practicalities too.
Yes.
Like, which we have seen so many times. Like, this fails in the real world too. Like, if you're going to have a belief system, or if you're going to have a way of life, it has to allow for people being weak, selfish, making mistakes, you know, wanting things that they're not supposed to have. If you don't have allowances and checks and balances and release valves for those parts of human nature, you're not going to, like, you're not going to be of use. You're not going to be of service. And like, people don't hold on to things that don't serve them. People are not faithful to systems that don't serve them.
100%.
You know? Yep. And it's like, yeah, it's like even like what happened with Ben. Like, you know, everyone thought they were going to mold him into like the perfect Jedi. You know, he was from this prestigious line. He had this lineage, and instead of filling him with like pride and like feeling like he could accomplish things, all he felt was inadequacy of not being able to live up to it. And that inadequacy was preyed upon.
Yep. Oh, God.
You know?
Ben Solo, you're a great character. So do you, in your fan fiction, do you go in and mess with Force type things too? Because you love the Force. You love Force adept people. You're just not a huge fan of the Jedi. So in your fan fiction, do you dabble in the Force a lot? Do you spend time trying to kind of give the Jedi a new direction? Do you fiddle with the Jedi at all? Any of those things in your fiction?
I talk about the Force all the time in my fiction. And I've gotten like compliments from people about the way that I talk about it, because I don't know, I guess it seems like evocative to them, or it speaks to them on some level. I'm so grateful for that. I don't take it for granted, honestly. Like, none of the positive feedback I get. But yeah, I talk about it all the time when I'm doing Canonverse Fix. And I try to be as canon compliant as I can with the mechanics of how it works. Like, I try to honor, like, I mean, yeah, like, I mean, I guess if you wanted to really be a stickler and like really, really nitpick, you could say that I'm not strictly, because I kind of like add things, but it's like, it's more like, I feel like the way that I talk about the Force and the way it works in my fics is very like true to the spirit of, or it's true to like what I interpret, what I have seen in official Star Wars canon. So I talk about it a lot as if it's like sort of like the Buddhist concept of Dharma, which is the idea that like all of reality is one. So like everything that exists is connected in some way to something else, to everything else. And you need to think about the world as like a quilt. Kind of, it's like a patchwork quilt where like each individual square, it has its own color and texture and pattern. So it looks like it's separate from the other squares, but everything is sewn to everything else and it's all connected. And if you like lift up the quilt and you shake it, you know, what happens to the red brocade square is also going to happen to like the blue silk polka dot square over there, you know, because it's all interconnected. And when I write about the Force, I use a lot of like sort of naturalistic imagery. Like I talk about it like as if it's like organelles in a cell, or, you know, like a ocean or leaves from trees, to sort of convey that it's a part of the natural world. And one of my fics, I'm actually using the wills in a really cool way, which a lot of people don't talk about the wills and like how they work in Star Wars. But it's like wills are kind of like RNA, like the way RNA works, whereas midichlorians are like mitochondria. So yeah. So it's like, I'm writing a fic right now where a ancient Sith Lord has returned because he found a way of manifesting himself again after his death, and he has access to a trove of corrupted wills that were created by Darth Plagueis, and his idea is to release the corrupted wills into the world between worlds. And once that happens, because the world between worlds connects like all space and time, the corrupted wills are going to like basically act like a virus, and they'll infect all the other wills and make them like them. So it will basically turn every Force adept or anyone who's connected to the Force to the dark side instantaneously without their knowledge or consent. So that's one of the wacky
Sign me up.
So that's one of the wacky things that I like to do. That I like to do in my fics. But I mean, I also just straight up just use magic sometimes. Like I straight up use the Force like magic. Like one of my most popular things that I've ever done in a fic was I wrote that in order to enter Fortress Vader, everyone has to go through an individualized trial. So the door manifests itself as the one thing that you want to do the most, but won't let yourself do.
Is this Vader trying to say, see, you would do it too. You would do it too.
Yeah, kind of. Like that was the point. It was kind of to sort of talk about how Sith like see desire and how they see like submitting or like admitting your desire. That's where your power lies. But also it kind of has this dark side edge of like sort of degradation. You know, it's like, you know, this magical entity can like see what you truly want, can see what you truly desire, and forces you to act on that desire, even if you don't really want to. Otherwise, you can't access the power that's inside Fortress Vader.
Boom. That's pretty. Yeah, that's great, and it's good too. Yeah. In
the fic, did you read that fic? Oh, you did. Okay. Yeah.
I've read lots of your things.
Oh, no. I don't know where you find the time, honestly.
I do. Usually in bed on my iPad. No, it's
but
great.
yeah, so that was one of my favorite things that I ever did. And actually, I almost cut it. When I was going over it with my beta reader, she was kind of like, I don't know, like, do you really want to do this in here? And I was like, I had a moment of doubt, but I ended up, because, it's like a kill your darlings type thing. Whenever you're writing something and you're editing, you want to make sure that like your story is nice and tight and that you haven't got anything extra or self-indulgent in there that just seems like masturbatory. Because like, who's going to want to read,
Yeah.
But I ended up putting it in, and I'm so glad that I did, because almost everybody who reads that fic, that is what they comment on.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I think it's all great. Anyways, everyone listening, go read some of her work, because it's honestly very, very
No,
good.
don't. It's trash. It's trash.
No.
18 plus only, please.
Maybe that. Just think of ourselves as, I don't know, we're all Dianagas swimming around, and, that's what we
It's
do.
all trash. Life is trash.
No.
Life is trash, and we're all Dianagas.
So, where do you see yourself going in the future? Not only as a podcaster, but also as a fanfic writer. Like, we're still early on in 2021. 2021 so far just seems like 2020 the sequel. So let's hope it's like not going to be a full two-parter. It's not going to be like Twilight / Harry Potter with 2 parts. I'm nope. I'm hoping this is a recap at the beginning of the season saying previously on, and we're quickly going through it. But where do you see yourself going or wanting to do? One of those 2 things, or both.
What I want to do is I want to just connect with more fans. Like, I love having this platform. I love hearing from everyone who listens to, watches the show. I especially love the way I have so kindly and generously been invited to participate in other people's Star Wars podcasts and their projects. Like, that is so heartwarming to know that people value what I have to say and that I have something to contribute to this community. Like just connecting with more people reading my fics, more people leaving comments.
That's great.
Being able to, like help people and have like exchanges too. Like, I love hearing what other people think about Star Wars. I love hearing, like, I want all the Star Wars opinions. Not all of them.
I want all healthy opinions. That maybe even constructive, as long as it's beneficial.
Exactly. Like, if it's misogynistic or racist, just please stay home. But like, or transphobic or fascist or any of those things.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, as much as we do have to like acknowledge the toxic side of fandom, like, it's also like, there is a community out there that is so nurturing and fun, fun-loving, playful, sweet, supportive, heartfelt, and connecting with all those people. Like, I just want to do more of that. I want more of that in my life, because that is the most fun part.
It is. I feel very fortunate that us here at Pink Milk have found ourselves 99.5% of the time in like a really healthy, positive, fun-loving group of people.
Yep.
Even when I have things like, I don't really understand what you said or why you said it this way, but it's like from a good place. And my Twitter doesn't ever really look too toxic very often. We haven't had a lot of bad things, I see the toxicity more in retweets from other people saying, can you believe this happened? When the people post that stuff, I'm like, I feel very fortunate that doesn't seem to really happen to us. There's every once in a while there's something or other, and I just delete it and move on with my life. But I agree. My personal Twitter experience is almost completely great. Like the people that we have surrounded ourselves with, or that we have congregated together, or however you want to look at it, has been just a very, very supportive group, from other podcasters to listeners to just Twitter followers, because I'm sure there's just Twitter followers that don't listen to the show, and all that stuff. It's been really awesome. It's been really, really awesome. So before we go, something I've been doing with all my guests in 2021 is inviting everyone to my kitchen table, where every night we do our berry mantra. And our berry mantra goes, we are berries, we support each other, we have fun, and tonight I'm grateful for. So here we are saying, we are Star Wars fans, we support each other, and we have fun. And today I'm grateful for. And all you have done this beforehand. I'm cleaning it up a bit because I keep having everyone stumble over their things, which is kind of fun for me to watch. But so the mantra is, we are Star Wars fans. We support each other. We have fun. And today I'm grateful for.
I'll do it. All right.
Boom.
We are Star Wars fans. We support each other. We have fun. And today I am grateful for the fact that I just got to talk to you all for over an hour about myself. And hopefully you listen. And hopefully we won't get hate mail.
No. No.
But yeah, I am grateful for Pink Milk. I'm grateful for Bryan. I'm grateful for my Star Wars family. And I'm grateful for the fact that we have not been inundated with hate mail because I am a Reylo.
The truth of the matter is, whenever I have private conversations with people about the show or about whatever, M comes up so quickly about how much we love M and she's so smart and blah. And I'm like, I know, thank you. I feel very, very fortunate because I am none of those things. I am very emotional and I can speak from my heart. I can do that. But I am not the most articulate person in the entire world. But, I'm glad that we have someone who is, one, emotional, speaks from their heart, but also very, very articulate. And, you and Mark have brought so much. Mark just brings a knowledge that is so there and present, and an understanding of how to bring people together that would not have normally been brought together. And he's just a ray of sunshine.
I love Mark's knowledge drops. I love them so much. I could listen to him talk about the Droids cartoon for 45 minutes.
Yes. I say it all the time, and I'll say it again. Thank you to you and Mark for becoming part of my regular Pink Milk family. Thank you for everyone who was in our roundtables, who will forever and always be a part of our little Pink Milk family, and all those yet to come that will be here. And I'm just, I can't stop saying, oh my God, I can't believe this happened, because Lord knows I never imagined what would have come. And I'm just so honored. And you and Mark were single-handedly, the greatest thing that actually came to me in 2020. Honestly, I don't ever want anyone listening or the two of you to take it lightly when I say I have never been the same person again. And it is not, I am not exaggerating. It is the truth. So thank you. Thank you for my one-on-one time. We don't get to do this. We do it sometimes, but we don't get to do it for as long as we just did, because it would put us to bed at 4 a.m.
Yeah, legit.
All right. Where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Foxfleur. I'm also on Instagram at Foxfleur too, if you want to see pictures of my cute toddler. And every Friday night at 11 p.m. Eastern, well, for now, until daylight savings time, I guess. We'll update that later on YouTube at Pink Milk After Dark.
Sounds great. Where we all have
Most importantly, lots of fun. You need to ship who you want, because all ships are valid.
Yes! There we go. All right. On a count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Drink up. And I'm back. Emma, I love you. Thank you so much. That was such a lovely conversation. Where else
other than Pink Milk can you get some deep conversations about both Star Wars and Madonna. If this is not a queer podcast, then I don't know what is. Oh, Em, we love you. We love you. I know all of you got to know her a little bit through the roundtables. Then we get to listen to her on Mondays and we get to see her on Fridays. But hopefully you enjoyed this one-on-one chit-chat with her and get to know her a little more than we did before, because she is a absolutely wonderful person and is a gift. So, Emma, thank you. All of you other podcast creators out there, make sure you get her on your show and share her opinions with your audiences, because she's amazing and she will brighten any room. So thank you so much. Let us know what you thought of that episode. Let her know any questions that you may or may not have about her, about Star Wars, about Pink Milk, about any of those things. She is there. And make sure you tune in on Friday nights after dark, borderline Saturday mornings here soon when it's at midnight. So I guess it is Saturday morning, isn't it? I don't know. Anyways, listen to us, Pink Milk After Dark, on the YouTubes every Friday night here, 11 p.m. Eastern right now, midnight Eastern time, I guess starting this week. So if you're listening to this, thank you. If you're on an Apple form of some sort, make sure you head on over to Apple Podcasts, leave us a written review. If you want us to read it here, you can always even just leave us a star review, preferably a 5. That way more people can hear us in their ear holes. Make sure you follow the show at Serving Pink Milk. You can follow me at B_sips_pink_milk. Head on over to our website at servingpinkmilk.com, and don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube, Pink Milk Podcast, where you can listen to Emma and Mark talk brilliantly and me ask questions and laugh. But until next week, that we listen to each other, talk to each other, engage on Twitter, any of those things, make sure to have a wonderful time doing it. And don't forget to drink up.